All right, we're gonna get into these stretches. I got 12 stretches for you. One thing I want you to remember about stretches, you do stretches until you feel mild discomfort, all right? So the first stretch you got is the knee hug. What you're gonna do is you're gonna lay down on your back. You're gonna pull your knees towards your chest. You're gonna grab them and you're gonna apply attention to your knees and pull them towards your chest. You're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. All right, the next stretch you got is the glute stretch. What you want to do is you want to take your right leg, you want to put your right ankle on your left knee, you want to grab the left knee, you want to pull that towards your chest. We'll hold this for 30 seconds. Alright, you can do the same thing on the opposite side. We'll grab that knee, you want to pull it towards your chest, you can hold it for 30 seconds. Alright, the next stretch you got is the supine spinal twist. What you want to do is you want to reach, you want to grip behind the opposite knee. And you want to pull it towards that same side. You want to make sure you keep your both shoulder blades on the ground. And you want to hold that pose for 30 seconds. Alright, same thing on the other side. You want to grip behind that knee. You want to turn it over while keeping both shoulder blades on the ground. And you want to hold this pose for 30 seconds. This is the supine spinal twist. Alright, the next stretch you got is the hip bridge. Alright, what you want to do is you want to lay on your back. You want to put your arms down. You want to have your quads at a 90-degree angle. And you want to thrust upward and you want to hold that. You want to hold this pose for 30 seconds. Alright, the next stretch you got is the cobra pose. What you want to do is you want to turn around. You want to lay down flat. You want to push up. You want to keep your pelvis on the ground. You can hold this pose for 30 seconds. Alright, the next stretch you got is hip abductors. Alright? All you're going to do is you're going to sit down. You're going to put your feet together. You're going to pull them towards your pelvis. And you want to create tension by pushing your knees down. You want to create slight tension in your pelvis and your groin area. You're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Alright, the next one we got is the hip flexors. What you're going to do, you're going to get into a plank position. You're going to put your foot up next to your hand. You're going to hold this pose for 30 seconds. That back leg should be fully extended. You can feel this in your hip and groin area. We'll hold this for 30 seconds. Alright, you're gonna switch sides, you're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. You wanna step? Make sure that back leg fully extended. Hold this for 30 seconds. Alright, the next stretch we're gonna do, we're gonna stretch the quads. Alright, what you're gonna do is you're gonna step up, you're gonna reach back, you're gonna grab your foot and you're gonna pull it towards you, and you should feel the stretch right here in your quads. You're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. Alright, do the same thing on the opposite side. You're gonna step, you're gonna reach back, grab that foot, and you're gonna pull that foot towards you. You should feel this in your quads. You're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. Alright, the next stretch you got is the hamstrings. Alright, what you want to do is you want to sit down. You want to pull one leg in towards your groin, pelvis area. You want to reach. You want to make sure this leg is fully extended. And you want to hold this pose for 30 seconds. You should feel this in your hamstrings if you're doing it correctly. You do the same thing on the opposite side. You're gonna pull that foot in. Make sure that leg is fully extended, and you wanna reach, and you wanna hold this pose for 30 seconds. Alright, hamstrings. Alright, the next one we're gonna do, overhead shoulder stretch. What you wanna do is you wanna grab your elbows, you wanna put it behind your back, you wanna pull it towards the opposite side. We're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. Same thing on the opposite side. You know, reach behind your back, and you want to pull that shoulder. You should feel that tension in your shoulder. You want to hold this for 30 seconds. Alright, the next one we got is across the chest shoulder stretch. You want to simply reach across your chest, and you want to create a little tension by putting your hands on your elbow and pulling it towards you. You're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Alright, same thing on the opposite side. Reach across the chest. You want to create tension by pulling the elbow towards you. You're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Alright, the last stretch you got is the pectoral stretch. What you want to do is going to clasp your hands together behind your back. You want to pull your shoulder blades together, and you're going to hold that pose for 30 seconds.